Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very, very interesting episode for you guys that you definitely want to stick around for. So let me go ahead and get into this episode here. Now, it's no secret that ESPN is infamous for coming out with some of the worst NBA lists and ranking in the entire sports world. It's like every year they got to top themselves, and they usually do it every single time. Whenever they put out their list, you always sit there going through the list and you're like, what the hell did I just read? Whenever you read through any of their lists. And it was one of the reasons why when Kobe Bryant was playing basketball, he had some very interesting and strong statements to make about ESPN as a whole. So for those of you who missed some of the comments that Kobe Bryant had to make about ESPN during his playing days, take a listen to some of that here, and we'll come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to what Kobe had to say about ESPN.
On Thursday night for LakersNation.com, I'm Serena Winters. Kobe Bryant, though, had his best game of the preseason, 27 points in 28 minutes, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. And earlier this morning, ESPN came out with their rankings, ranking Kobe Bryant 40th. You might remember last year they had him at 25th. So what does Kobe think about that? Take a listen.
Kobe, was it motivating to you at all that ESPN ranked you the 40th best player in the league?
Nah, not really. I've known for a long time they're a bunch of idiots.
But you're also been known to use outside motivation to your advantage. Is that a case here?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to use things of motivation that are tend to be in the realm of reality.
But it doesn't stop there. Because ESPN is notorious for doing this, creating these narratives and all of this stuff, it got to the point at one point when the face of their network and Stephen A. Smith came on live TV during his days on ESPN with Skip Bayless. And he basically called out the network for one of their most ridiculous NBA rankings. So for those of you guys who may have missed that, because it's an older episode, missed what Stephen A. Smith had to say about ESPN then in their rankings, take a listen to some of the comments here that Stephen A. Smith had to make about ESPN. Take a listen to that.
Every year before the NBA season, ESPN releases player rankings. Voters are asked to vote how they think a player will perform on a scale of 0 to 10. Last year, there was huge debate when Kobe was voted 25th. I remember him tweeting just 2.5. This season, he's 40th. Stephen A. Smith, Kobe 40. You agree?
You know what? It's moments like this where I wouldn't blame Kobe Bryant for never speaking to ESPN again. I don't care if Kobe Bryant broke one arm, a wrist, and a leg. There are not 40 players in the NBA better than Kobe Bryant. Now, if you want to sit there and say there's 40 players, 39 players rather better than him because he's not going to play or he's not going to last, that's different. But Kobe Bryant on the basketball court, there are not 39 players in the NBA better than Kobe Bryant. What an insult. What an insult.
How do you know that right now? That's my problem with this ranking. Well, how do you know? Because to me...
Because I know basketball and I know who can play. Kobe Bryant can play, Skip. I don't care. Even if he's limited, he can play.
But
there
how
are guys that are in the
NBA
that can't. I'm just saying, you limited in terms of athleticism or whatever.
Yeah.
But they can't play on his level.
Listen.
What?
Trust me on this. The ruptured Achilles is the worst injury any athlete can ever suffer because you never quite get all the way back. I know we've looked at Dominique's career and he had some decent years. I don't know. I just don't know because everything goes wrong. Your calf atrophies and you never quite trust the leg that you ruptured the Achilles on. And then he fractures his knee on top of it. I don't know. When you're going on 20 years in the league, I don't know.
If he does not play, Skip Bayless, you're right. But Kobe Bryant, half of Kobe Bryant is better than 39 players in the league better than Kobe Bryant. Half that Kobe Bryant is still better than more than that.
Now, I'm sure after listening to these two sound bites, You guys must be asking yourself, okay, what the hell is the reason you're producing this video? Like, why are you producing this video in the first place? Can you explain to us why you're doing this? Let me tell you exactly why we decided to produce this segment today. I was sitting there on my phone, scrolling through Instagram, and a picture popped up. And the picture popped up from ESPN's account. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to pull up the picture here because it's very interesting. And while I'm pulling it up, we're actually, I think we're going to put it up on the screen for you guys, because when I read it, or when I read what's on this post that they said, it's going to really crystallize what I'm saying. So they put up a post and they wrote, at age 37, with the wow emoji they put up, only 2 players in NBA history have averaged 38 and 6 on 50% shooting: Michael Jordan and LeBron James. So that's what ESPN posted this morning or yesterday, depending on when you see it. Now the question is, why would they post something like this? And why would they do it now of all times? This is what came to my mind. How can you post a picture like this of LeBron after he is about 2 or 3 days removed from the most disappointing season in the history of the NBA, and probably one of the most disappointing seasons in all of team sports history? How is it possible that 2 or 3 days later, you're posting an image like that, a stat of LeBron James next to Michael Jordan? And it became very, very clear to me what they were doing. They're trying to create some type of narrative that says LeBron is somehow on Jordan's level. This is the clearest example of propaganda and them trying to change the narrative. But it won't work. I'm sorry to tell you, it won't work, because what we all know is LeBron just got finished getting exposed. We're going to be doing some NBA Lives covering the playoffs, but that's a few days away. So while we wait, allow me to roast. The fact of the matter is this: LeBron James is the 7th greatest player of all time. There's 6 NBA players I have ahead of him that deserve to be ahead of him. I have Michael Jordan, I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I have Kobe Bryant, I have Tim Duncan, I have Magic Johnson, and I have Shaquille O'Neal. The simple reason is this: all of those guys ahead of him have won just as much as him, or even more, but none of those guys at any point in time had 4 top 75 players and 5 Hall of Fame players on their roster and never even made it into the playoffs. Not one of those guys you can say that about. But you can say it about LeBron, and I'm sorry. When you are a part of the biggest disappointment in NBA history, you don't deserve to be in anybody's top 5. Now, the twerkers, the people that voted, the 7% of those people that voted in the poll that we put up on the channel just yesterday asking who should be the regular season MVP, and these people had the nerve to actually give more votes to LeBron than Devin Booker. These people don't care about winning at all. They don't give a damn about winning whatsoever, for the simple fact that you can vote for LeBron. The guy didn't even make it into the play-in, and you feel he's more deserving of MVP votes than a guy that had the best record in the entire NBA. This is the type of fan base we are dealing with on a daily basis. This is what we're dealing with. And one of the arguments has been that they try to throw out there is one of these stupid, silly arguments that they get it over the masses, but they're not going to get it over us here at this channel. Thank God we have a core audience of thinking people that can reason and logic at a fairly high level. They tried to say, well, who were the Lakers before LeBron James got to the Lakers? Let me quickly tell you just who the hell the Lakers were before LeBron James got there. Number one, the Lakers were the most famous NBA sports team before LeBron James got there, period, in his story. They won 16 NBA championships before LeBron James walked through the door. That's number 2. Okay, they had some of the most iconic athletes in all of sports history play for that organization: and Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, and Kobe Bryant, James Worthy, and the list goes on and on and on. That's another thing worth saying, because these guys, what they like, it's all about the narrative. They're going to pick a time span of 5 to 6 years and try to explain, and then basically, what were the Lakers before the last 20, 30 years? How about you stretch it? But they won't do that because it doesn't support their narrative. Number one, the Lakers had 16 championship banners hanging up there in the rafters. That's number one. Number two, this is who the Lakers were before LeBron James got to the Lakers. Let me tell you, the Lakers were the fourth most valuable, listen to this, fourth most valuable sports team in the world. You dweebs. The fourth most valuable sports team in the world and the number two most valuable sports team in the NBA. And I think the number three, if I'm not mistaken, most valuable sports team in the United States behind the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Yankees. That's who the Lakers were. The fact of the matter is the Lakers could do more for LeBron than LeBron could ever do for the Lakers. Number one. Number two, let me tell you exactly what he's done for the Lakers. He delivered them in 4 seasons, no playoff appearances, 1 playoff appearance when he got bounced in the first round, and 1 bubblicious championship. That's what he delivered them. And he delivered them the most disappointing season in the history of that franchise and in the history of modern sports. That's what he gave them. He didn't give them a bloody thing. And some of these people, who were the Lakers? Were they relevant? So how the hell, excuse me, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. How the hell can the Lakers not be relevant, but yet they're the fourth most valuable sports team in the entire universe? Help me understand this. Or maybe I got it wrong. In the United States, probably they're the fourth, because I know they have some soccer teams out there. But one of the most valuable sports teams in the world. How can they not be relevant? Laker fans are literally everywhere. I was a Kobe Bryant fan. I watched most of his career. He would go on the road. There would be Laker fans all over the place. All over the place. And you guys somehow believe that somehow this guy did something for them after he just gave them their most disappointing season of all time. And I think it's just classic that we could see. Kobe Bryant knew that ESPN was full of it. Stephen A. Smith knew it. And here it is, another attempt for them to try to put somebody that doesn't deserve to be next to Michael Jordan. I've said it before. I'm going to say it once more. The distance between Jordan and LeBron is a distance between the moon and the earth. They are not peers whatsoever. Forget about what these people are telling you. These guys will come up here and make some of the most idiotic comments. I was listening to somebody that's talking about sports the other day, and he was trying to make it, and he is notorious for making stupid arguments. But nevertheless, somehow somebody keep putting a microphone in front of him, and he's up there talking about some nonsense. Talking about why these guys should be compared, coming up with the most obscure, obtuse arguments to try to make a case just so you can twerk it up all over the place. So to me, these are my thoughts and opinions. Maybe some of it is a little bit abrasive, but as I was talking, it was actually getting me pissed off. So these are my thoughts and comments. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I also want to make sure you guys are aware that we're going to be doing lives beginning next week, prepping up for the playoffs. So thank you guys for your attention. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.